Is this taken?
Yes,
No.
very good. You got it right on the first go.
So she is here to do a presentation on Recology, the things that we look forward to. And then if any of you are interested, I've asked her if we could set up a tour to Recology. So depending on the response, I'll get back with her. So Christine?
Great. Thank you so much, Gretchen. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for coming down and sharing the part of your evening with me. So, like Gretchen said, my name is Christine Broschel. My title for the company is Waste Zero Specialist. And what I'm involved with is I do a lot of community engagement, education outreach, and also I'm involved with government relations. So I work one-on-one with city contractors for all the cities, or most, I'm sorry, let me take that back. For our southern cities, we serve Des Moines, Meridian, and SeaTac. So just keeping the communication there alive between the cities we serve, the company, making sure that we are delivering on our contracts and that sort of thing. Now, I will admit, I am new to this industry. I've been with the company for the last couple months now, so I'm still learning quite a bit. But I do have some information for you all tonight, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. It's been shared with me that Recology hasn't done a presentation of this type for several years now, so a little long overdue. So before we dive in, I'm going to open it up to I can write down a list of questions. So as I go through the slides I have here, I can incorporate some of those answers throughout the presentation. So what are some of your questions? You can take note right here already. Yes.
Well, I guess I didn't look at this here, but I'm wondering if you're going to get to the point where you start taking foam containers.
Foam, like styrofoam?
Styrofoam containers. Because there's a lot of places that are still dishing out styrofoam containers.
Right.
And there's a lot of garbage that's still being generated with that.
In the recycling.
In the recycling bin.
Right.
And I'd like to know when you're going to open your store.
Okay. Great question.
And also, whether the plastics that we can't recycle now will eventually be recycled.
Okay. And when you say plastics we can't recycle, can you give me an example of what could we take in?
Oh, I was thinking of plastic wrappers.
Okay.
Well, and also, there's a lot of plastics that have the triangle number.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't recycle by that, we recycle by just a little container, or
Right.
it would be a lot easier if we could just look at the triangle number and know.
In Colorado, we do that. We do that.
That's a great question. I'm glad you mentioned that. All right. Great. Beautiful. Anything else? And, oh, yes.
I want to ask what the current requirements are for the recycling of like fluorescent bulbs, things like that. If we still put it curbside, or what the requirement is for that.
Great question. Okay, excellent. And of course, as we go through this presentation, if any questions come to mind, please feel free to call my attention and ask them right then and there. So absolutely. And if I need to slow down or clarify myself, please let me know. I want this evening to be useful and beneficial for everyone here. So let's go on to the next slide, please. Thank you. So real briefly, once again, who is Recology Cleanscapes? We're very proud to say that we are the largest employee-owned waste management company. There's three total that serve Puget Sound. There's Recology Cleanscapes, Republic, and Waste Management. We currently serve 9 cities throughout Puget Sound, including Shoreline, of course. Again, SeaTac, Des Moines, Meridian, Carnation, Maple Valley, Issaquah, Seattle, and then Basel. So we are your hauler. So we come to your home and we pick up your garbage, your recycling, and compost. We pride ourselves in the recycling aspect to be a co-mingled recycling processor. So that refers to our MRF, the material recovery facility that we have in South Seattle, which is the facility that you can tour. There's public and private tours available for you for free. And there you can see the next step of the recycling story, the recycling process. What happens when those recyclables leave your curbside by the use of our trucks, and you get a first-hand experience and visual of that process. So again, we are the only company serving Puget Sound who have our own recycling processor. I'll touch on that a little more later. We pride ourselves in being waste reduction educators. So we have a very robust education outreach department. I'm one of 5 specialists who do these sorts of community engagements. Again, making ourselves available to answer any questions that you may have about your services. Again, big key in making and promoting positive waste management behaviors is just education. And there's a lot of fine rules and details when it comes to disposing of our waste appropriately. And then of course we have a smaller maintenance team called Streetscapes, and you may recognize our guys out there at big field games, CenturyLink. They're the ones out there cleaning up the sidewalks, making sure that everything is nice, clean, presentable, and just clean living spaces for all of us who are enjoying big games or community events. So that's who we are in a nutshell. Yes.
I just remembered one. My daughter picked up a chair on the side of the road and then decided she didn't want it, and so I tried to take it to Valley Village, and they said, take it to this place, which the address was the dump, and I said, well, okay, and I don't know what we ended up doing. I think we threw it in the garbage, but what can be recycled at the dump is my question.
Well, a lot of what ends up in the dump and ultimately to the landfill, the statistic is 40% of it could have been recycled. So for that particular item, you said it was a large chair, furniture chair?
I don't think they said to just take it to the dump, and pay for it. I think they said, that's what I thought she was trying to tell me.
Well, Recology,
Maybe not.
we do pick up large, bulky items, including pieces of furniture. You set that out on your curb and then call our customer service representatives. They can coordinate with one of our drivers right away, and you can come around and pick that up for you.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, but you gotta make that call and, put that on our radar.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Next slide, please. So, big picture, why is this important? Why are we out here educating folks to manage our waste as best as possible? I love this visual aid because it clearly shows the top 5 countries that produce the most waste. As you can see, the United States comes in at number 1. We earned the gold medal for this, coming in at 624,700 metric tons per day of waste that we produce. Personally, that's a number that I can't even fathom. So that's a statistic that we're not particularly proud of, and we think there's plenty of room for growth to improve upon that, especially when you look at other countries like China coming in second. They have a much larger human population compared to us. They're still producing less trash, but less waste. So, comparison there. So this is kind of a global perspective. Next, please. And, this is a great reminder. I think often people take advantage of the services that we have here, the trucks that come by on a regular basis to pick up our bins. I know before I started working with Recology, I thought nothing of it, right? I put my trash, my recycling and compost out by the curb, leave, go to work, and then by the time I get back, it's all gone, poof, disappeared, think nothing of it, right? And just continue on with our day. That trash does not disappear, it goes somewhere. And without the amazing work, hard work, that our drivers especially commit every single day to pick up our waste, without that, we'd be living in a world similar to this. And who wants to live in a world like that? This is not only unsightly, but it's also a major health issue, too. So we're very fortunate here in the Pacific Northwest to have the infrastructure in place to prevent and minimize this.
Any idea where that picture was taken?
This was taken in Lebanon
Uh-huh.
during a garbage strike.
Okay.
Yes. So, not to say that garbage strikes don't happen in this country as well. I know there have been some cases over on the East Coast.
Yeah, New York
Yes.
City. When I was growing up, there was garbage strike.
Mm-hmm.
Piling up in the streets.
Right. So like I said, again, here in the Pacific Northwest, we have that infrastructure in place to support this, what we call the 3-bin system. Exactly what it sounds like, 3 bins that are color-coded so that it helps us as users find out and figure out, okay, what goes in what bin. Food waste, colored green, recycles, colored blue, and garbage is of course colored black. We at Recology are always emphasizing maximizing the food waste and recycle waste streams, okay? Use those 2 options and minimize how much we put into the garbage. Yes?
Why is it that plastic silverware is not recyclable?
Great question. So a lot of that has to deal with our MRF, the material recovery facility. That is where all the recyclables are sorted out. We'll recall before I mentioned a commingled system. Basically that means what we can do at home is put all of our recyclables, just clump it all together and put it in the container. Our trucks come by, pick it up, and at the MRF, we do the hard work of sorting everything out into categories, all right? We implemented that because we're finding that recycling efforts weren't being very successful. We're being very successful because we're asking everyday folks to take the extra time, take the extra effort to sort their plastics from their glass, from the carton, and the mixed paper. So we thought, we'll make it easy for them and just sort it there. So with the plastic utensils, because they're so small, they get jammed in our machinery. Because they're so small, at the end of sorting all of our recyclables, we pack them in these large square bales that are then transported to manufacturers. Again, because of the size of that plastic silverware, it's not easy to compact and bale together. So at this point, yes, plastic utensils need to go in the garbage.
What about the plastic utensils, like PCC has the stuff that says commercially compostable?
If it says compostable and it needs to be labeled clearly compostable, then that can go into the food waste bin. But that's the key. You're looking for the word compostable. Some brands may say, oh, we're biodegradable, or use some other green-friendly terms.
Okay.
That's all part of branding though. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they are compostable. So that's what you're looking for. So if it says compostable, you're good to go. Mhm.
Who sorts it? People or machines?
Great question. It's a combination of both. Yes. I was hoping to show you a video tonight with some brief snapshots of different stations in the MRF, highlighting our sorters and the machinery, although firewalls blocked that. So, but I can go into that in further detail when we get to that slide. Yeah, it's an interesting blending of those 2 resources we have at the MRF.
I went and did a tour of the Recology facility, and you can sign up to do that. I highly recommend it. Completely fascinating.
It is. It blows your mind.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Yes, it's very inspiring, really, to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I notice a lot of people recycle their water and they put their lid back on and throw it in. Does that, your conveyor belt, what does that do?
Yes, so that is, I would say since the last time Recology did a presentation for you, that is a new change. A huge change, but a new change. That's right. Plastic caps, as long as they are attached to the larger bottle, yes, it can go through our recycling machine. Again, caps that are separated because they're so small, they'll get jammed in the gears that we have and wreak havoc and huge maintenance costs. So, but as long as that cap is part of a larger body, the machine will be able to process that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Next slide. All right, so I was saying let's emphasize the food waste and yard waste and recycling waste streams to minimize what goes into the garbage. Next, please. And so these are generally, you should be left with very little garbage, and these are the categories that would fall into that realm. Bags. So single bags of this type. Big no-no. This has to go in the garbage. Can't go in the recycling bin as it is like here, because again, it's just not really, this does not do well for our machine over at the MRF, right? It's stuck, jammed. However, if you bag a whole bunch of plastic bags and create a three-dimensional structure like this, so you go from 2D to 3D, this is big enough. It's got depth to it, height, width. Our machine can take this. So again, remember, bag your individual plastic bags in a bundle like that. Styrofoam. So there, I was on a route actually. I was with one of our drivers throughout Shoreline, visiting many of the multi-family complexes, those large apartment buildings that are starting to go up now with people moving into this area. And quite a few people were hiding styrofoam in their recycling bins. And so they went into our trucks, and they still get delivered to our MRF. But we have to set those aside and give those then to a third-party vendor who has the means and the ability to properly recycle styrofoam. So generally, styrofoam has to go in the garbage. Options for you folks, if you want to prevent putting styrofoam in the garbage, you have the Shoreline transfer station around here that can drop off large amounts of styrofoam. I looked this up online today. They do not take the peanuts that you use for packaging. They don't take that, but larger styrofoam blocks, they do. The new Recology store that will be coming soon, I do not have a date. It has not been confirmed or determined yet. We're still in the process of finalizing the location for our store. But that store is a great community resource because there our clerks will be more than happy to accept hard to recycle items that will fit in your recycle bin, like styrofoam. So you can bring in like your large bundles of styrofoam, bag, in a transparent bag, drop it off with them, and they'll take it and again give it to our third party vendor who can properly recycle it. Yes.
I just was gonna offer that styrofoam peanuts, I've had success bringing them up to the UPS store in Edmonds. They'll take them.
Excellent.
We take our styrofoam over to the local Recology store.
Oh,
It's
wonderful.
not that far away.
Great.
So we can use that until this one's open.
And it will open soon. Ideally, we want to get it open by sometime next year. So we will see how the paperwork for that all comes together. Yes.
On the flyer that we got at the beginning of the year that laid out what goes in garbage and whatnot, they had the CDs, the compact discs that go in garbage. But they don't talk about that on here. And I just cleaned out my home office and I have this huge box of the 3.5-inch floppy disks and cassette tapes from work that I used to do. So it's a huge box. I don't want to dump it in the landfill.
Right.
Is that something you take to the store that they'll take care of?
No, I don't believe so. I don't.
That's a
So
lot of our waste is computers, and I know they'll take computers, but
that's right. E-waste is what it's called, but I don't believe CDs fall into that category. Yeah, because there's no market for it per se. My option to you would be, look for any arts and crafts stores, reuse arts and crafts stores. I know there was one in Meridian a while back.
There's
So-
also one in Greenwood in about 84th.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to you about those CDs that you have for art.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have a huge box.
Christmas ornaments.
Christmas ornaments, yeah. Family together, holidays are just around the corner, so Halloween decorations. Speaking of Halloween, it's just a couple of weeks away. Lots of trick-or-treaters are going to be out there gathering candy. Maybe tossing out some candy. The wrappers. Any wrappers that have that silver lining, reflective lining on the inside, that's got to go into garbage as well. Even if you try to bag them in, one bag, it's still not acceptable. So that has to go.
So Doritos and like chip containers, if they're silver, it's still garbage.
Yes.
Oh.
Silver interior. Yes.
So that's the same for wrapping paper.
Yes.
You could
Mhm.
recycle regular,
Well,
but not the gold.
if it's
or silver.
coated in wax of any type, like, or if it has any of that sheen to it, to make it bright and cheerful and gluten-free, that has to go to the garbage, yes. But if it's more, like raw paper, that could be recyclable. But again, try your best to look for a label that says, recyclable, yeah. This here, what an iconic picture, Mount Rainier in the background, and then we have Cedar Hills landfill, which accepts just King County's waste, trash. The size of Cedar Hills is about 920 acres total, the equivalent to 700 football fields. It's a very large space. I had the privilege of touring this facility when I first started, and they're about maxed out on space, to be honest. They think that this landfill will be open till about 2020, at which point no more space. And so the next question is, where are we going to dispose of King County's garbage? Because the state doesn't have any plans of opening up another landfill. Could still be discussion. I don't know what goes on behind those closed doors, but space is running out, so we need to come up with some creative solutions of how to manage the waste that we produce.
This is, this mural is also up at the transfer station inside, and it's pretty powerful, optically. And I'm wondering if you've ever thought about changing this from garbage to landfill.
Oh,
Or something like that, because I think garbage is, a term that we don't really think too much about, but if you say landfill, or what you put in here is going there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
So let me
little bit
ask
more-
everyone else in this room, you hear the word landfill, and what comes to mind? You see this? So be curious to see if, the majority of the public sees this too, or if they're just so disconnected, they don't even know what a landfill is. So, but thank you. This is great feedback. We're always looking for ways to improve our messaging, our outreach materials, because we want to get this message across.
I think the word and the picture, the garbage and landfill and picture of what it actually looks like together is very powerful.
It is. What do they say? Pictures worth 1,000 words?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I've noticed even like at Central Market, with their 3-bin system for trash, they have recycling, compost, and then they label it landfill. So I think, it makes you think about it before you just throw something in there. It's like, wait a minute, it's actually going to a landfill, so maybe I should
Right.
recycle it.
Oh, I like that. I'll share that with my team. Thank you.
I have a question. I see here it says soiled foil in the garbage, but if you, I wash off my aluminum foil after I use it, can I put that in the recycle?
Yes, you can. Yeah, it's just clean it, wash it,
And then I
that's-
ball it up.
And ball it up, and
Yeah.
that's just our way of, everyone's way to minimize what we call contamination. Again, we're sorting these different items, and then passing them on to manufacturers who then take that resource and recreate items that we get or purchase at the store. So making sure that they're not contaminated or covered in something that shouldn't be, because that will affect the integrity of whatever they're trying to create and sell to us. Mm-hmm. Yes.
It might be worth mentioning that this applies to King County. The Seattle waste actually is compacted in transfer stations, put into what are like shipping containers across that go to the ocean,
Yes.
and put in double-decker trains that are a mile long, 6 days a week, and take a long trip to the desert. Oh, that's coming up? Okay, good.
You just took the word right out of my mouth.
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead and flip it one more time.
The landfill is cheaper.
Yes. So
There you
here's the
go.
Picture.
Good for you.
Iconic mile-long train stacked with 2 cars on top. That is all carrying Seattle, the city of Seattle's garbage. It's Cascadian Ridge landfill, and that's a much larger landfill. It's 3 times bigger than what Cedar Hills is. But you're right, Seattle produces so much garbage that if they were to divert it to Cedar Hills would have been filled up many, many years ago. So they truck it 300 miles away. Imagine all of the costs associated with this. At this time, it works, it functions. Due to the success of recycling programs the last decade, we've been able to reduce the number of days that this train's been in action. So before, it was like running seven times a week. We've now been able to shrink that down to 6 days. But let's even make it 4, 5, or 0. Right? So I think I've seen this train on my morning commute. Some people say you can smell it from afar. So, next slide, please.
I have an idea to ask
Mm-hmm.
your team or bosses
sure.
or whoever
Mm-hmm.
about the plastic silverware. Because the Shoreline school system is using plastic silverware in enormous volumes every single day, and all of that's getting thrown out. What if there was a way for that to get packaged up in such a volume in plastic that was all the same type, that it wouldn't get stuck in your
Right, I like
equipment?
that idea. I like that idea.
Because they're like throwing out 600 of them every day.
Would they have to
in one
wash it,
school.
though?
They would have to
They would
wash
have to wash it.
Yes, yes. So that would fall on their end.
Right.
And again, you know, school systems, timing, effort, that requires a lot of effort on their part.
But there are people within the system who are very interested in, there are parents who are very interested in rectifying this waste problem.
I wonder if we could, you know, if they could start using like compostable silverware.
Yeah, I think
It's more expensive,
I think it's a
but-
cost situation.
But at that-
The compost.
Yeah. If you're talking about having them rinse the silverware again to reduce that contamination, at that point, I would argue, why not just go to durables? You know, silver, like true, like stainless steel silverware. All right, they can reuse it over and over again. Compostable is a great option, but you're still, you know, using resources to create something and then disposing of it in the green bin, of course. But you're still, you know, in that cycle. Why not just cut back even further and just reuse these stainless steel options? You know. Yes.
Yeah, I was floored because I worked for Shoreline. I was a substitute lunch lady, and I was floored because I went to lots of different schools, from Sunset to Einstein to Meridian Park to I don't know what all, but like Lake Forest Park, all the schools. Not a single one had recycling. I was like, and you're doing all these pizzas and all this cardboard
Right.
and it's like there was no recycling.
Right.
That was probably like 7 years ago, but still.
Well, we certainly still have a lot of room for improvement, even from what I've seen in my limited time in this industry. Yeah, it's not. There are pockets where it's like good and strong, good to go, and then there are other areas where it's still like almost like a dark ages. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for recyclables, I don't know if this is helpful for you. We call it the 5-finger rule. So all the recyclables that are accepted at the MRF fall into our categorized into these 5 areas: paper, cardboard, any form of plastic, bottles, tubs, jugs, or cups, glass, and metals. So again, the commingled system, you put all of this jumbled together in your blue recycle bin. We take it and through the use of our hand sorters, so the individuals who stand on this conveyor belt that's going in one direction, they are sorting these different items. And then we also have machinery. We have magnets. We have lasers that are able to scan, detect, and help separate these items as well. Again, just keeping these streams nice and clean, and so not having paper and metal together, because again, that's another form of contamination. Yes,
Why
question?
can't you recycle the little pill bottles?
So the orange, are you referring to the orange pill bottles with prescription?
I mean, they have a 6 in a triangle on the bottom.
Right. Again, those triangle numbers. The quality of that container, the way it's constructed, it shatters into little small pieces. And at that point, it's not feasible for even our sorters, our hand sorters or machine, to separate those from these other commodities. And so that's another form of contamination. So that's why. But, you know, pill bottles like for ibuprofen, Advil, the white plastics, those can go into recycle.
Do you do industrial recycling of those pill bottles though? Because when I went and did a tour of the thing, I saw a giant block of those pill bottles.
Yes, I believe there is a means of disposing of those. I don't have the knowledge, as you know, to give more specifics. That is where you contact our customer service representatives. We have a
Okay.
couple that cover the shoreline area explicitly. They would be
Okay.
able, they would have the information readily available. Absolutely. Mhm. Yeah. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is here is a great snapshot of the MRF, again, the Material Recovery Facility. That sorting machine is the large green contraption right there. Again, lots of belts, sorting belts going right, left, incline belts. It's an amazing device. Again, you have the option to come to our facility, meet with myself or one of our other waste zero specialists, and we can guide you through the process. So that at the end of that maze, you see our large bales. Those are the large square structures. This here is a combination of mixed paper. Mixed paper, just compacted together, and those will then go into a shipping container, head out to the Port of Seattle, and then go abroad or to any of our third-party vendors who then take that material and create something new.
How often do you have to shut down the MRF machine? The machine that sorts it? Once an hour?
It's running pretty non-stop
But you
from
said-
8 to 4.
But you say it plugs it up and it's.
It can. So occasionally we'll have something stuck in the line. It may be shut down for a couple of minutes, maybe 30 minutes. You know, we have repair teams that go out there because they're trying to fix it as quickly as possible because there's a lot of recyclables coming in from our trucks. We've got 170 trucks out there, each coming in with a big belly full of garbage, this huge heap, sorry, not garbage, recyclables. And, you know, on average, we process 400 tons of recyclables a day. So it needs to be running. And then the later part of the afternoon is when, again, that pile of recyclables will be gone, disappeared, and they'll go through and clean every single inch of that interior space there. Spick and span so that the next day, next morning, you know, we'll be ready to operate and, you know, clean environment. So there's workers there pretty much 24/7. Next slide, please. All right, and once again, here's a picture of our hand sorters there. In the background there, you can see the large amount of recyclables that are dumped out by our trucks. And the start of the line starts on this incline belt right there. So it's amazing. Again, I wish I could play that video for you, but it was blocked by technology. But just come on down and we'd be more than happy to give you your own private tour.
So when I shred my bills, I
Mhm.
put them in food waste.
Yeah, that's acceptable.
I mean, I can't imagine my shredded paper in there. but-
We do sometimes get shredded paper.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. Recycled bins, so, yeah, and that fits in the category of mixed paper.
Oh, so you can't put it in
Mm-hmm.
this?
Yes.
Do you have to put it in a larger bag or can you?
Yes, it needs to be bagged, that's the thing. When you put it in a
Oh.
compost, we ask that you, of course, put it in some sort of compostable bag so you can break it
Really?
down.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And how come I don't see any grass or branches on this page?
So that handout just
Just food
emphasizes
waste.
food waste,
Okay.
but you're right, in that green bin, food waste and yard waste can go in
Okay.
there. Let's go to the next slide, I wonder if that's, okay. All right, well, in the interest of time, I will focus on the food and yard waste now. So yeah, yard waste, it could be basically anything raw, so grass, clippings, branches falling down from the tree after a storm. That is acceptable. Any wood, like lumber, that perhaps may have been treated by some chemical or preserver or something like that, that cannot go into compost because again, that chemical nature is a form of contamination. And then the food and yard waste, any paper soiled products. All right, so pizza boxes. And the reason why the pizza boxes don't go into recycling is, again, you have that contamination factor. You don't want paper, you don't want any food remains, any pieces of pepperoni going and contaminating the rest of the paper that you might have in the recycling bin, mixed paper or cardboard. So pizza boxes with pepperoni go into the food and yard waste bin. So let's talk about these triangles with the numbers in them. When I first learned about Recology when I was in elementary school a long time ago, I was told that just look for the symbol, and that means it can go into the recycling bin. That's not the case. It's not accurate. These numbers really don't pertain to us. These numbers are more valuable to the manufacturers. 1 through 7 just represents the different types of plastic out there, the different types of plastic resin. So number 2 plastics, I believe, are what's used to create our water bottles or soda bottles of that kind. And these numbers again just help manufacturers who are sorting these so that they can create new Pepsi bottles, water bottles. I believe number 6 pertains to styrofoam. Styrofoam is a type of plastic. But yeah, so those numbers don't really have a meaning for us. It's for the manufacturers.
Except that you could say, we take everything 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right?
That's right.
But yeah, I guess maybe that's too hard for people to do. That's just how we had been used to it. We take all these numbers, nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter the shape or the color or the size.
Right. Right.
So the 5s are automatically eliminated because those are the ones that are shattering.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But if this works for you guys, then
Right.
yes.
Right. At this point in time, we don't have a plastic MRF, or PERP is what they call, a plastic recovery materials center. And there's a couple in this country, but they have the means to separate each of these plastics and use them for future use. But at our MRF currently, we just take the whole kit and wiggle and then ship it off to our third-party vendors. Yes. All right. Let me.
So
I'm
we-
so sorry.
So we can recycle 1 through 4,
No, she's saying.
or none of them, or all of them?
It's not based on the number, it's
It's
based
not
on
based
the
on
type of container or plastic.
Okay.
Right. So essentially, plastic-free, anything that's large, rigid, more than 3 inches, that can go into the recycling bin. Okay.
Great.
Anything 3-dimensional, yeah.
Good.
So milk jugs, detergents, that sort of thing. Anything that can hold its shape. Even those plastic containers that hold like blackberries, blueberries in the store,
Mhm.
those can be recyclable too. So large, rigid structure. Mm-hmm.
Oh, can you go back? You didn't answer those questions.
Sure, yeah.
Just the peanut butter.
Oh.
I mean, I'm dump that in the dishwasher before I put it in recycle.
Oh, great, yes. So what I do is I take the effort.
Sorry.
It's okay, you don't have to go back. I take the effort to actually wash out my jars, every single one of them, with warm water and soap because I have my recycle bin inside my house and I don't want it to smell. For some folks, that's a little too much extra work. Our rule is as clean as possible. For the peanut butter jar, use a knife, spatula, or a spoon. Scoop out as much as you can. If whatever's left or stuck on the walls, if you can't get another serving out of it, it's good. You can put it in the recycling bin.
And the lid?
With the lid too, attached.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the lids, are those lids more than 3 inches across?
They're about
Yes.
3
They're about
inches.
3 inches?
yeah.
Okay, so I think you could separate them, but I always put them back together.
And those lids on those soda were okay?
That's, yes, but for those, because they're so small, less than 3 inches, you need to attach them to the larger bottle. Because again, you don't want to jam up our machine. Right, yeah. We try to emphasize, cleaning out your containers as much as possible. For those of you who are able to participate in our tour at the MRF, when you're on the starting line, you may pick up an odor. It's natural, but that odor is from, remains of jar contents that weren't entirely, tuna, that weren't entirely cleaned out, so. Let's go on to the next slide. Right there, okay, compost. All right, so here's a great picture, again, compost, food waste, yard waste, no treated lumber or anything like that, and then paper with food on it. Next slide.
Are they ever gonna make bags that don't collapse, I mean, don't open up, you know? I feel like I have to, as soon as I fill it up, I have to go run to the recycle.
Oh, because I think that's just the nature of the bag, because they
Yeah.
want to promote, you know, the breakdown process, not have something super thick. Yeah, it does break. Recology does not have its own compost facility, so we work with two organizations, Lens and Cedar Grove. This here is a picture of the Lens composting facility that I had the privilege again of touring as well. So, and they actually use hand sorters to sift out contaminants. Let's see it on the next slide, the picture. Oh, that's not there. Okay, well, the types of contaminants that will find in food waste, metal, glass, silverware, stainless steel silverware, quite a bit. Textiles, clothing, that ends up in there. So at Lens, they actually have, when the compost first gets dumped into their building or hangar on the floor, they have individuals out there sifting, cleaning, because that's the most thorough way of getting those contaminants out, even more so than a machine. All right, so at home, you folks are here tonight to learn about recycling and compost. We see this messaging a lot here, reasons why we do it, especially here in the Pacific Northwest. I'll open up to you. Tell me, why do you put so much effort and emphasis into compost and recycling? Why do you do it? What do you get out of it? Yes?
Because I have heard that it takes a lot less energy to make something out of something that's already been created than it does to make something new out of extracting things from the earth and making it new. And I'm interested in extending, human life on earth. And I think that it makes a difference in climate.
Absolutely. That's a great response. Yeah. See, Recology's motto is, where folks see waste, we see resources. That's very true. What we throw away, the aluminum, paper, that's resources right there. It's closer to home. We don't have to go abroad and go after the virgin materials, but we've got already so much produced by us closer to home. So from an economical standpoint, it just makes sense. It does. Anyone else care to share? Okay, let's go on to the next slide. Recology are all about what we call the 4 R's: reducing where we can, reusing, recycling, and rethinking. Just again, thinking how we can be smarter, creative, thinking outside the box. So these are just some suggestions, ideas for you. Get creative. So with those CDs, turn trash into treasure by creating wonderful table centerpieces for the holiday parties. This here is a caption. One of our Recology stores, again, one is coming to Shoreline. When and where, those details are still to come. But not only are we in retail selling, reusable bottles of this kind, but again, we are a drop-off center. It's free if you're a Recology customer. Just drop off any hard to recycle items. And there's a sheet over there on the shelf that highlights those particular items, including fluorescent bulbs. Believe you are allowed to set those aside off to the side of your recycling bin on the curb, but you're limited to a certain amount. So if you have a large amount of bulbs you need to get rid of, I'd recommend dropping by one of our stores and disposing of it there. And again, we ask that because it's more of a safety issue for our driver, because they don't have a lot of storage space in their cabin for those large bulbs. Let's see. Okay. Next slide. So some snapshots of, again, the waste reduction outreach that we do, visiting schools, attending city council meetings or conferences, and then providing our handouts here. Next slide. We have an artist in residence program. So at the MRF, we have an art studio. And we just wrapped up our program for the year. We have two artists come in for 3 months. They have full access to the MRF, all the recyclables coming in from your bins. They sifted through and created art pieces from it. So I am a huge supporter of this program because what a great, creative, innovative way to get people discussing why it's important to figure out new uses for waste.
Pieces from that were part of a show here about 6 months ago.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, the wings were actually hanging right up there.
Oh, wow. Welcome full circle. Excellent. Great. And then my team, we do go out to businesses and do visual and more comprehensive waste audits. So we collect all of their trash, take it back to the MRF, sort it, and see, okay, how well are these people using the 3-bin system? What's their divergent rate? How successful are the recycling efforts? And we provide them feedback, a report, and then help them take the next steps in improving their behaviors. Okay, so that is my spiel. Question about styrofoam containers. They are not recyclable. So I would say we could rinse those out, dry it, and then save it off, put it off to the side, and deliver it to our stores. That would be my.
Oh, great. So, I'm sorry, I guess I missed that at the top of the thing. So, if it's delivered to the store, then that's something where it'll get reused down the line?
I don't know if it's reused. I don't know, again, the third-party manufacturer, I'm not sure what happens once
But it's likely not going to go into a landfill?
Right.
Okay, well, that's enough. I would go to that effort to save it if it weren't going to go in the landfill.
Mhm.
That's great. I hate throwing that stuff out. Because the other thing we get is those trays that chicken comes in. You know, like when you buy chicken at Trader Joe's.
Right.
And those are styrofoam.
Those
or meat.
are styrofoam, but I believe that those still fall into the garbage.
Because they're too contaminated.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't wash them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Darn it.
I have the phone number for our Shoreline customer service representatives. If I'll be here throughout the rest of the meeting, so if you want to stop by and get that number from me, I can pass it along to you. And yes, we can discuss the idea of perhaps doing a MRF tour. You guys can think about it, sleep on it. But yeah, I'll let Gretchen handle those logistics. I want to thank you so much for your time and attention tonight. Sorry I ran overboard. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. So if we did a tour, we would have to do it Monday through Friday. There's, the machines don't work on the weekend. Would any of you like to do a tour of the Recology facility? One?
We're very nice. We don't bite.
Okay, that's not enough to put a group together, but
It's
Thank you.
always
We can
an
work on it.
option.
Yeah.
There's an online
Yeah.
webpage. You know, you can fill out a registration form.
How many people had to be there, or you just take 2 or 3?
Well, we'd like a little more than
Well, okay,
that. You
okay.
know, like a group of 10 would be perfect. That'd be just the right size. Mm-hmm.
20 is too many.
That's a safety issue. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
So now, what is our computer problem now?
There's no problem, I
We
just
just
have to
have to switch
switch
that.
mouse.
Okay. So, if you want to take a break for a couple of seconds and get some tea or water or snacks, we'll get the computers switched around and we'll have the next speaker.
What's that?
What was the next thing about?
It's about the new healthcare thing that went in right next to Trader Joe's. Everett Clinic, right. I get your card.
If anybody wants taffy, the taffy jar belongs to Recology. So hurry up and grab it.
Yes, I do. Let me get that to you right away before I forget.
Did anyone want a Recology business card?
So we have the generic card up there, and I have my personal card right here if you wanted to
Thanks.
reach me directly.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What's this? You said First Avenue?
It is, it's by the, just off of First Ave. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just a little south of the stadiums.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Probably on Dawson or something like that. Okay.
Address
Because
to
it-
Idaho Street,
I
off
don't
of
know
Martin
that,
Way. Mhm.
You must have taken that over from somebody.
What do you mean? Oh, that space you mean?
Yeah, because there was a recycling place in there. I think that was waste management, stuff like that. And there's waste management, has one right there at the Fourth and Randy, I think?
Mhm,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Mhm,
yeah.
yep.
So you're something like that, but more, better, I guess.
Yes, we are.
Well, I mean, I've seen that just, overflow and everything else. You were bought out now, weren't you?
Thanks for coming tonight.
Recology is from San Francisco, right?
Oh, yes. So originally we were Cleanscapes,
Right.
but we merged with Recology. That's how I see it. I don't know if we were bought out. This was before I joined the company.
About a year ago,
First.
in the past 2 years.
Yes, yeah. But our missions, our visions align pretty well, so it just seemed like a good fit.
Where's your headquarters?
Our headquarters
Is it San Francisco?
It's still it's San Francisco. Recology is the mothership.
Okay.
So, and for the Seattle branch, our main office is in Pioneer Square.
Okay, right down there.
Yes,
right, okay.
yes. Is there any concern about the new rules being in place, going into place March 1st, 2017, for all single resident homes, garbage collection services is now mandatory? That's going to be a change coming up next year. With that service, though, you do get a free weekly food and yard waste embedded
I'm
with
very
that.
excited about that. Today I filled my green and
Yes.
two other bags with leaves.
So I didn't want to, because that is for shoreline, that would be like the biggest change that's coming our way.
Someone posted a question about the cost of it on the Facebook page, and let me see if I can pull that up for you.
So the rates for the new rates.
If you hold on a second, let me get the question so that we can have that
Can you
properly.
repeat it again, what you just said, starting March?
March 1st, 2017, single resident homes or homes that have like 4 residences, like a duplex.
Fourplex, yeah.
Fourplex, thank you, a fourplex residence. It's required now for them to receive garbage services via Recology. So, instead of going to the dump themselves, dispose of the garbage, they are now our trash.
Well, I mean,
by
I can advance it.
garbage.
And
We'll sit here.
the recycling is free.
Recycling is free every other week.
If you
And
have
then,
garbage, yeah.
yeah, and then of
Recycling.
course the food waste, the food and yard waste bins, that's incorporated for free as well.
How
under
come
these.
I see these cute little square plastic bins and I'm like, I want one of those.
What color are they? Black?
They're dark, yeah.
They look like
They're black.
Rubbermaid bins. on
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just have to call them and say you want the smaller bin.
Exactly.
Oh,
That's
okay,
the
I
littlest.
can't have both.
You pay the least for that.
Oh,
You have
okay.
the
That's
least
right.
garbage.
Oh, that's garbage, okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's garbage.
So we have those questions pulled up?
I'm trying to find it. It looks like the person must have pulled the comment down because I can't find it anymore. They must have gotten it answered. I asked them to call City Hall to find out the answer to the question.
I think it's, the rates are going down, aren't they going down a little bit?
No, I think they might be going a little bit up, not too much, because I know that was a concern amongst many community members. But again, this is an effort to make garbage services as low as possible for everyone across the board. And this is a joint effort between Shoreline with King County to achieve a higher recycling rate by 2020. So Yeah, and those new rates for 2017 have not been officially confirmed, so I'm not gonna say anything, but you will get notification of that, of course, by the 1st of January.
But you can raise your rates now every year, can't you? Or, I mean, those rates will be good for how long?
For at least a year.
For a year?
For a year, they
Just like
Yeah.
Comcast
Yeah.
changes.
Yes, changes.
You were saying that a fourplex has to, I thought
At this
when I read it, it was a
point,
three.
we want to go on to the next part of our program. We have the distinction of having a clinic, Everett Clinic, which is just across the road.
Okay, I can't.
In our neighborhood. This is the first actual clinic we have in the physical bounds of Meridian Park. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Jessica Griffin. I guess she's going to sit back there.
Sorry, and I clicked the slides for you.
And she's going to tell us about the services that are available at the clinic. And is it too late if a group of people wanted to do a tour?
I
I know
could,
you've had.
I could definitely take a group, if people were wanting to go through. Our clinic will have closed, but I wouldn't be able to schedule any appointments, but I would be willing to show people around if they wanted that.
If you had a group of them. Okay. So anyway, at this time, Jessica is going to give us a presentation, and you can see what the clinic is like. Thank you.
Well, thanks again, everybody, for having me here. I really appreciate this opportunity to kind of get to know the community of Shoreline and for us to introduce ourselves. Like she said, we're just right across the street. We're super excited to be here in Shoreline, and we're just thrilled at how the community has welcomed us. So I'm going to start off with just a little bit of history about the Everett Clinic. I know that's a lot. For most of you, you may not know, but the Everett Clinic has been well established in Snohomish County since 1910. We have grown to over 40 specialties and over 11 different locations. And this is our first venture in King County. And we're absolutely thrilled to be here. And we've grown over the years from just a couple providers to 25 in 1977, all the way to 175 providers in 2000. And I also want to make note that we have a Smoky Point clinic that opened in 2012, which very closely mirrors our Shoreline clinic that we have here that opened just about 4 weeks ago. You guys may remember it as the Hagen, and so we went through and we did an entire facelift. We basically gutted the inside all the way down to the dirt, and we rebuilt kind of with our new branding that is similar to that Smoky Point. The interior is very modern and supports a very smooth patient care flow with the provider and the patient. Up in the top left corner, you can see the beginning of our team space. And this is very unique to a more modern clinic. Most often, you usually have doctors with their offices around the corner. But here, we are sitting right next to our doctors, right next to our RNs. So if you have a question, hey doctor, what did you want for this patient care? You can just turn to the doctor and have that conversation. So there's that great connection for the patient care.
How much was your remodel cost?
That one, I am not sure of the number, but it was several millions.
Okay. Someone said it was in the 20 millions, and I don't believe that. Okay.
I heard 16 million,
Okay.
but I cannot confirm that. But I can look it up.
If I might say, I was in there with a 14-year-old lad just a little while ago.
Yeah.
And it was quite unique, like you say, because you're in the little whatever it is, patient room or where they
Yep.
look at you, and that big door there in the back
Yeah.
slides to the left, is like a barn door, and it's obvious that they go in there and there's computers and experts and all kinds of people, and then they come back again, and then they disappear again, and then they come back again.
Yeah.
It's good, different.
It's very unique in the way that the patient enters from one side of the room and the provider enters from another, because it creates a very smooth flow for the patient. So this is kind of the finished exterior and also the finished waiting pause area. We spent a lot of time trying to make it a very nice Pacific Northwest vibe. So you've got a lot of wood, you've got a lot of color and kind of earthy textures. And I'm kind of moving us along just because I know that I want to be aware of time here. So our clinic hours are Monday through Thursday, 7 to 7, and then Friday we have slightly shorter hours, 7 to 5. But our walk-in clinic is 7 days a week. So we have urgent care Saturday through Sunday, as late as 7:30 every night. And we do have rotating primary care providers on Saturdays from 9 to 1, which is really great access for patients who, have the normal 9 to 5 job.
How do you define urgent care?
Urgent care is, we typically call it walk-in clinic, but I know coming into the King County area, urgent care is a lot more used. This is, it's a Sunday afternoon, you feel like you got the flu, your doctor's not in, you can come in and see us. Or you call your regular doctor and he can't fit you in for 5 days, but gosh darn it, you just sliced your finger and you need someone to take a look at it. We're there whenever you need us. If you can't get into your primary care, you can come and see us.
But broken bones would go to the hospital?
We do see broken bones. If it's severely broken, like a break in 3 places that would require surgery, we would help facilitate you getting to the hospital. But a simple fracture, we can splint it, and then we can get you scheduled with the orthopedic to follow up for.
Just out of curiosity, what do you regard as the closest hospital here? Stevens?
We are working with Stevens, but we can also work with Northwest if that's what the patient preference is. We work with either. We would also work with Providence, but obviously that's not the
Do
closest.
you offer any confidential insights as to which is better?
I've got the most experience with Swedish, but that doesn't mean that Northwest isn't good. It's just most of my experience has been with Swedish.
By Swedish, you mean Stevens up there?
Yes, Swedish Stevens.
Health grades, I think, rates hospitals. There's a
Health grades?
I think it's health grades. They rate
In
all
addition
hospitals.
to walk-in clinic, urgent care, we do have primary care. We have internal medicine, family medicine, and pediatrics. We also have several different specialties. We have allergy, dermatology, optical optometry, podiatry, occupational medicine, lab and x-ray, behavioral health, OBGYN, physical therapy, and pulmonology and sleep medicine. And I just wanted to take a moment so you guys can kind of see who our providers are. We have Dr. Agarwal for allergy and asthma therapy. He's a great provider. He likes to joke around with us a lot, and he has incredible availability. Oftentimes, if you call, we can get you in that day. Dr. Shalaka is a very seasoned pulmonologist from the Everett campus, but he loves Shoreline so much that he's coming down to see us a couple days a week. He's really fun. He seems very serious, but he'll joke with you. We do have behavioral health special, which is kind of your counseling and group therapy appointments, and they've also got great availability. We do group appointments, which is kind of a great asset for patients. We also have dermatology. These two are very busy, but they also have good availability. The dermatology team has actually been one of my favorite because they have such a great team that they joke around, but they keep the pace moving, so it's really fun. OBGYN, they have a very strong presence with us, and they also see patients up in Everett, Mill Creek, and Smoky Point as well. So wherever you are, they are as well. We also have Dr. Song in occupational medicine and Megan Wilder in podiatry. We have physical therapy. We have Michelle Branch and Andrew Eisentrout. They have a really wonderful gym and some great equipment for the physical therapy that we offer. We also have optical and optometry. We definitely also offer frames and optician available for the eye contact wear.
Does that include ophthalmology?
Not ophthalmology at this time, but keep an eye on us. We're growing more and more specialties.
Okay.
We do have family medicine. We have Dr. Campbell, Dr. Fung, and Dr. Smith. Our availability right now is absolutely fantastic. You call in same day, and we can get you in. One of the great things that we have about our primary care providers is they all work one late night a week. So if you don't get off until 6, one of them is always working until at least 7. So that helps with availability. That helps if you need to get into your doctor, but you don't get off until 5 o'clock. We do have that availability.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So if you can call and get in at the same day, what's the difference between, making an appointment with the primary care and just doing a walk-in? Is it a different fee structure?
I can't speak to the fee structure exactly because sometimes it depends on the insurance and the insurance plan, and there's a lot of different ones. A lot of people like to set up a relationship with their primary care provider. If you get a sinus infection every fall, they know your history, they know what helps to treat that for you. So if you have a relationship with a primary care provider, that's fantastic. If you don't happen to have a primary care or they're not available, we also have the walk-in. So it's just having different options available for patients depending on what they like. We also have some great pediatricians. I had the pleasure of also working at our Mill Creek Clinic with Dr. Kiyanaga, and she's absolutely fantastic. I've been getting to know Emily Waite. She's also a lactation specialist, which is really great for new moms who need some help. We have been working to get involved in the Shoreline community. Our first one that we had was to celebrate Shoreline, and I think that was a really great event to get to meet Shoreline and see how eager they were to kind of welcome us with open arms. And we look forward to continuing to have more community involvement. We also are offering some Medicare sessions for people who have questions about Medicare and questions about Medicare Advantage plans. So we have those coming up on October 26th and November 10th. Does anybody have any questions?
How do you deal with group health?
It depends on the group health plans. Some group health plans are very specific in what they cover and what they don't cover. I've got some business cards here that I can pass out. These have our customer service number on the back. And so if you call the customer service line with your insurance card in hand, they can pull up your specific plan and your specific coverages to really kind of delineate what is covered best. We do have we accept a lot of the major insurance carriers, but all of them have very specific plans and coverages.
I have a question, put you on the spot. What's the advantage of the Everett Clinic to the one over in Richmond Beach now and EW Physicians? Why should I go to you?
I started with the Everett Clinic in 2008. I worked for the clinic for 5 years, and then I had the opportunity to have other roles in other area clinics. And it was very surprising to me that the other clinics didn't have the patient focus as much as I had experienced at the Everett Clinic. There's a lot of times where, there's a lot of bureaucracies, there's a lot of things that you've got to deal with, but I've been in meetings in the Everett Clinic where we were talking about supplies for getting Shoreline going, and we stopped the line and we said, what do we have to do to deliver great care for the patient? And that refocused everybody to say, okay, this is what we've got to do. And I haven't experienced that at some of the other clinics that I've had the opportunity to work at. The Everett Clinic really does keep that patient at the center. And they've also got a lot of really good governing agencies within the clinic, different departments that make sure that we're delivering high quality, safe patient care, which is something that's incredibly important to me.
I have a question for you, Jessica. I noticed on one of the slides that it said that your clinic system kicked out drug reps. That's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so how do your doctors, if your doctors don't have drug reps coming to them, how are your doctors finding out about medications?
Yeah. The reason that we decided to kick out drug reps is so a lot of what would happen is you get drugs reps coming in, got these great pamphlets, I'm gonna bring you lunch, and here's my, this is the study that I have, it's so great, it's amazing. And I've been in those meetings and they can talk up these medications real great, but they also don't talk about the flip side or the cost or the other impacts that they have. And so we took that out of the clinic setting. So the providers aren't being influenced one way or another. But we do have a very strong pharmaceutical team where they intake all of the drug reps. They're kind of the line that stops, okay, you can talk to me, we'll take in all the information, we'll evaluate it and compare it to, what are the generics, what are the costs, what are the benefits, what are the risks. And every quarter, they go out to the doctors and they say, here are the new meds, here are the benefits, but here are the risks. We really don't recommend this new med. This one's been on the market. This is what we think is probably best. And so we're still getting in that new information, the new medications, but we're also weighing the risks and the benefits. So
That's an interesting model. I'm impressed by that.
I really like it. And I've been in clinics, where they kind of wine and dine. You're like, gosh, that sounds real great. Okay, we can get that for free, and now we've got the samples, and the patients really want it. But you don't always see the other side and what's actually truly best for the patient. So.
Well, you always see them when you pass them in the halls when you're going into the doctor. They've got their little suitcase walking in. You can always tell who they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you have another question?
Dare we ask about your acquisition?
Of DaVita? Yeah.
Of them, of you, yeah.
Yeah, we have recently been acquired by DaVita Medical Group, which is a national company, and it was very deliberate. It was the Everett Clinic who decided that for the longevity and the success of the clinic, we could not remain as just a physician-owned clinic because we didn't have the resources and the means to grow it as aggressively as we wanted to. And we were like one of two physician-owned clinics still remaining in Washington State. And they specifically chose DaVita because they were not affiliated with a hospital and they were not affiliated with an insurance company. And we shared a lot of the same goals, a lot of the same values in delivering great patient care. And so far it's been just a wonderful relationship, kind of melding the two together.
They're a kidney dialysis operation.
Yep.
Group Health gives the same line of reasoning for why they merged with Kaiser.
Who's the other doctor-owned physician clinic? Is it Polyclinic?
Say that, yes.
Yes, okay.
Any other questions?
Do the other ophthalmologists at any of the other clinic locations?
Say that once more.
Ophthalmologists, because
Yeah.
not at this one,
We do have ophthalmologists at other Everett Clinic locations, Harvard Point and in Everett. And when I say keep an eye on us, we made this space with room to grow. And so we'll be continuing to add on more specialties. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much for letting me come in and kind of share this information with you. We're just super excited to be here in the Shoreline community. it's just been wonderful.
Great, thanks.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay, we have a couple of minutes to visit or have some more refreshments. Both presenters are here to ask questions of, so we've got a few more minutes to have their attention. One thing we would like to ask you, if there are specific things you would like to see, to hear, have presenters come and present. So if you have things that you would like to,
Thank you. Be
to
sure to
learn-
recycle that. I'm kidding.
That's right.
So, if you could email us, we have a website, Meridian Park Neighborhood Association.
And you can just come tell me too also, if there's anything you're interested in before you leave tonight.
I think it's meridianpark.info.
Any topics you're interested in, we can have speakers come in.
And you're on Facebook too. I don't think I'm on that one.
It's
But I was
might
on
have been
Shoreline
next
Meridian,
time,
so
so
thank you
we'll-
very
Please
much.
come and let
Yeah,
Meridian
You are welcome. Okay, I will. Thank you very much.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Absolutely. What the different options are, with, benefits and presentation.
So these people are familiar with Medicare.
Well, I